Ever since Big City Engine came to work on the Northwestern Railway from the mainland, he's always had a positive attitude. He makes everyone he comes across more cheerful than they were before. There aren't very many things Big City Engine doesn't like, but one of them is someone with a bad attitude. One day, he was taking a passenger train to Brendan Docks. He had never been there before, and he was excited to see all the interesting things there. Unfortunately, not everything there was worth seeing. Cranky the crane was being very cranky indeed. He was nagging at Bill and Ben.
"You two are the slowest when it comes to delivering clay," he barked. "Now get out of my sight!"
The twins said nothing. They just crossly puffed away. Big City Engine was disgusted. He had never seen anyone with such a bad attitude. When he arrived at the platform, Salty the dockyard diesel came up alongside him.
"Greetings, me hearty," he said. "I don't recall seeing you around here before."
"This is my first time here," Big City Engine replied. "It's actually not so bad."
"Well, that's good to hear, matey. What's your name?"
"Well, I actually don't really have a name, but people call me Big City Engine since I'm from a big city on the mainland."
"It's nice to meet you. Is there anything you want to know about the docks?"
"Actually, there is." "Who's that crane over there? Not to be rude, but he's kind of a jerk."
That's Cranky. I wouldn't worry too much about him. He's always like that."
But that made Big City Engine worry even more. Later, he went to see Sir Topham Hatt. "Excuse me, sir, but could I do some jobs at the docks for a change?" Sir Topham Hatt was puzzled. "I suppose that'd be fine. Henry and James can take your passenger trains for a while, but I'm curious to know why you would like to work at the docks." "I'd like to work with Cranky more and see if I could get him to be more positive about things." "Very well then," Sir Topham Hatt replied. "You can start work there tomorrow." "Thank you, sir." And with that, Big City Engine puffed away. "Good luck to him," Sir Topham Hatt said to himself. "He's gonna need it." The next morning, Big City Engine went to collect some crates of youngsters at the docks. When he got there, Cranky was still unloading the crates. "Hello," called Big City Engine. "How are you?" Cranky had his back turned toward him, and he didn't hear what he said. Big City Engine realized this, so he decided to blow his whistle to get his attention. He blew his whistle as loud as he could. It surprised Cranky and made him drop one of the crates. Luckily, the crate wasn't damaged. Cranky turned towards Big City Engine. "Are you out of your mind?" he shouted. "You could have ruined the cargo!" "Oh, come on, look on the bright side. At least it's fine." "Oh, great. You're one of those optimistic engines who are always talking about being positive. Well, guess what? The world isn't like that, and the sooner you realize that, the better." Big City Engine felt bad, but he carried on with a positive attitude. He collected his load and set off to the market. It could have been worse, he thought to himself. I think I'll try to start over tomorrow. The next day, he was taking some coal to be loaded onto a barge. He looked up at Cranky. "Hey, I think we got off on the wrong foot yesterday," he said. "What do you say we start over?"
I don't have time for the likes of you, he replied.
"Derek broke down just before the loading dock and I can't reach his cargo."
Just go try to annoy someone else, please.
Big City Engine was very annoyed, but he decided to just leave it at that. He decided to just go by the warehouses to get away from Cranky. Salty, who was shunting there at the time, saw the Big City Engine was troubled by Cranky's attitude. "Ahoy, matey," he said as he pulled up. "Would you like to hear a story about the sea?" This made Big City Engine feel better. "I have to go right now, actually, but I'd love to hear the story tomorrow." "Alrighty, see you then, me hearty." And with that, Big City Engine puffed out of the docks. On his way back the next day, he decided that he'd try his best not to associate with Cranky. "Whatever I try to do, it just doesn't work," he said to himself, "so I just won't do anything with them. I'm just shunting with Salty today anyway, and he's actually a nice engine." So when he got to the docks, he did just that. He enjoyed shunting with Salty, as Salty taught him all sorts of tricks to deal with the troublesome trucks. "I never thought I'd ever say this, Salty," Big City Engine said, "but I'm actually starting to enjoy shunting."
Everything's better with friends, me hearty.
Big City Engine could only agree. When they got done shunting for the meantime, Big City Engine remembered what Salty had said yesterday. "So Salty," he said, "how about that story you were talking about yesterday?"
"Ah, yes," replied Salty. "I guess now would be better than any other time to tell it, me hearty."
It was a very interesting story. Big City Engine was enjoying listening to it. When Salty got near the end of his story, he started to get louder as it was getting more intense.
"The storm was getting worse by the second, but when I thought all hope was lost,
Will you shut up already? Called Cranky. Your voice is giving me a headache.
At that moment, Big City Engine couldn't hold back his impatience with Cranky. "Why don't you shut up?" he said.
All you do is complain and make others feel bad and cross.
"Aye, matey, you need to calm down," said Salty.
"This is no time to calm down, Salty. I'm sorry, but I just can't stay here. This is getting ridiculous."
"But there's still more shunting to do, me hearty."
But it was too late. Big City Engine had already left the docks. Later that day, Sir Topham Hatt went to see Big City Engine. "I heard what happened today at the docks, and what you said to Cranky. You have caused confusion and delay. Salty barely got all the train shunted by himself." "But sir," he replied, "Cranky is such a jerk." "No buts. You should have known what you were getting yourself into. I want you to go to the docks and apologize to Cranky tomorrow." "Yes, sir," he said unhappily. The next day, Big City Engine went to the docks like Sir Topham had told him. "Look, I may have overreacted yesterday. I was just really frustrated, so I'm sorry for going off on you." Cranky smiled. "Don't worry about it. Everyone's a little cranky now and then. Just look at me." Big City Engine laughed. "Thanks for understanding. Friends?" "Friends." He then puffed over to Salty. "Hey, I'm sorry about leaving you here with all that work yesterday."
"I know a way you can make it up to me," Salty replied.
"How?"
"Shunt all the trucks today."
"On it," Big City Engine said as he set to work.
Well, I was only joking, Salty said to himself, but I guess I can let him go for a little bit before I jump in. Har, har, har.